Asynchronic sip, and I'll drink for this. It was only if it was alcohol. I'll drink to these professors and intellectuals who try to figure out how to solve the Middle East. It's your assumption, your base assumptions, and your principles determine what solution you're going to get. It may have different flavors, but the direction is going to be determined by your assumption. And each and every professor and intellectual on the internet that I listen to, man, they're all assumptions are based on naive um, perception of the Palestinians and the Middle East in general. And nobody addressed the base problem that all these, the Middle East in general and the Palestinians specifically, how do you address the fact that they're all Muslims? Islam is a religion that calls for death of Jews, death of Christians, conquer the world, Sharia law, makes everybody Muslim, rape, pillage. I mean, we've seen it on October 7th. These are true followers of Islam. They follow the Quran and the Hadith to the letter. Muhammad was a caravan robber that liked child marriage. Okay, and I'm sorry, Muslims that don't know their own religion. So how do you solve the problems in the Middle East? That is the fundamental ideology. That is the problem. Until now, we had Islam contained in the Middle East until recent years. And then you have refugees all over the world coming and trying to propagate Sharia law. Now, it's not only socially and culturally, actually specifically socially, does not fit the Western world. It's also economically. If you look at Judaism and Christianity, it promotes individualism, private property, free market, free thinking. When you see Islam, there is no private property. There is no free thinking. So you want to reconcile. Now, what's the problem? The problem is we in the Western world, we value life. So eliminating all Muslims is out of the question because that is our values. Their values is life is cheap, land is expensive. They want as much land as they want. If you understand that, you almost understand every conflict. Why a sliver of land that called Israel, that is smaller, it's so small, even the name Israel doesn't fit it on the map, it's so small. Why they fight over it so much? Now, these intellectuals, like there's a channel I listen to called the Duran. They're so smart, it's unbecoming. It's so stupid how smart they are because they go and think that, oh, if Israel only retreat to the 67 border. Wait, isn't that what happened with Gaza? What's the border of Gaza before October 7th? Isn't that the 67 border? And besides, the people in Gaza are Egyptians. The people in the West Bank are Jordanian. Totally different. How do you define Palestinians? Palestina was the area from middle of Syria, including Jordan, including Israel, including... It's such a huge place, and it was a territory that defined by the Romans. It's like saying the Appalachian. There's the Appalachian people. No, Appalachian, it's a set of mountains. It's pretty big, but you don't hear about the Appalachian people. There is no Palestinians. And the history is that the Arab countries try again and again and again to try to destroy Israel. They couldn't do it, so they invented that people, the Palestinians. And by the way, the Palestinian Liberation Organization was created in 1964, 3 years before 1967. Intellectuals, I'm telling you. Consider human behavior when you make decisions. that involve humans. If you want to solve the Middle East, understand their set of values, understand that they want land, and until they're going to get away with that. If you ever heard the term land for peace, right? That was the principle for Israel peace agreements with Jordan and Egypt, and that idea is following the Islam, catering to their values. They can look at it as a win to their people, and we look at it as a win because we just want to preserve life. So we want less wars. They don't care about wars. For Islam, the rest of the world that is not Muslim is always at war. In Islam, the world is divided to two: Dar al-Islam, the house of Islam, and Dar al-Harb, the house of war. So if anybody thinks that there will stop being war, it's a fallacy. That's not how it works. And it didn't work like this for the last, I don't know how many years, since Islam started, from the 7th century. If you think that when Muslims are going to gain enough power, they're not going to wage war, read the Quran. The Quran specifically says there's 3 stages. When you're a minority and you cannot do anything, just get along, do whatever. If you're 50-50, you start meddling. You can lie as much as you want, according to the Quran. And it says when you have the power, then you wage war and you conquer and you rape the women, you pillage and you take the resources. That's what the Quran says. If you think that you have a translation of the Quran that says something else, maybe you should learn Arabic and learn how to read the Quran. And specifically the Hadith, because a lot of the Muslims consider the Hadith, the life of Muhammad, more important specifically as an example of how to live. So whatever Muhammad did, like marrying children, raping, killing, all this stuff is fundamental to Islam. Islam, we look at it as religion. But truly, if you analyze it, you just land from outer space. It's a political ideology that masks itself as a religion to gain legitimacy. It's not religion like Judaism and Christianity, that what's important is the individual, the self-salvation, okay? They try to convince you that when they say jihad is a self-struggle. In what universe? Show me one war that the Muslims have waged that they didn't call jihad. The Islamic jihad. Do you think they got it together and says, okay, we need to do self-therapy? Doesn't work like this. So for all the intellectuals out there and all the smart people, including Scott Adams, by the way, and the Duran and the other philosophers, intellectuals that try to engineer the world like and never consider human behavior. Look for the underlying reasons why Japan and Germany, we have good relationship now after the war is over, and the Palestinians and other Arab countries still don't have peace with Israel. If you figure this out, I think it will helpful to your thesis of how to solve the Middle East.